Hey everyone, what is up and welcome back to the channel. I'm Heather and today I'm going to be sharing with you my March 2025 sewing plans. If you're new to the channel, this is going to be primarily a fashion and sewing related channel. I have made a firm decision because I was thinking I might incorporate some other things, but pretty determined now that this is just going to be sewing and fashion. So if you enjoy that type of content, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and coming along for the journey. Let's dive right into these plans. Now, March is going to be a very advantageous month because I know my phone is hard to see on camera, but this list is long, y'all. So I am very self-aware, probably not going to hit every single one of these things on the list. Or I also know I have a squirrel brain that just gets ideas in my head and sometimes goes rogue, but I am going to attempt to get a lot of this done, so it's going to be a busy month. If you happen to see my recent February Makes video, you will know that I made a pair of self-drafted trousers using the Domestika course on classic trouser pattern making, and that it went really well in the end, okay? There was one discrepancy in the course that was very confusing, but I just ultimately stuck with the equations given to us in the course, and I just stuck with the paperwork, and they turned out really, really, really well. Now, I would not say that drafting pants is like the best place to start because that really was my first self-drafted project. So I probably picked maybe the biggest challenge of all to start with, but it turned out really well. So now I want to make a self-drafted skirt. I am going to use another Domestika course for that. And I do have a fabric already pre-washed and in mind. Now this is a locally sourced fabric. I'm pretty sure it's like a stretch twill. It's in this beautiful deep forest green with this sort of purpley pink hue, and it's almost, I don't know if it's leaves or petals of a flower falling, but I just think it's beautiful. I actually got it in two color waves. The other is like fully different pink shades, but here is a close-up on that. You can see these beautiful hues in the light. I just fell in love with this fabric. Now I only bought a meter of the fabric, so it's probably gonna stay either a pencil skirt or knee-length skirt, nothing too crazy. So just gonna take a break from how much work were involved in the pants last month and do something a little simpler, but I want to continue on this drafting journey. If you have seen some of my videos, you will know this, but I'm obviously a pretty new channel, so a lot of you won't know, but I am determined to learn fashion design. I always wanted to learn it from a very young age and ultimately went to school for music, but now it's kind of come full circle and I realized, no, I really want to learn this. So this year is about bridging the gap into the design space so that ultimately I can sew up my own designs, and I think pattern making is the natural step in that direction. So I want to continue to do that every month. So this month is going to be a skirt. Now, the next thing I would like to sew this month, and this is high on the list, so I do think this is going to happen, is I want to sew a coat for my husband. He is the best person on the planet, and I want to start making more things for him. We sort of talked about it as a late Valentine's gift because our Valentine's was super late this year anyway by circumstance. And so I actually don't have it in here, but it's essentially a black wool that I want to use in another Domestika course. I'm sewing a worker style jacket. So I will put pictures up here from the website, and I let him pick everything out. He picked it out himself. He picked out some wood buttons, and so he's sort of the designer on this. He's going to use his own artistic vision, and I'm just going to sew it for him. And it will actually be my first time working with wool, so I am interested to see how that goes, but always happy to make him something. All right, so the next pattern I'm making, and this is actually cut out on my sewing table right now, is this McCall's 8146 right here, and I'm going to be making view A, the short sleeve version up on the top. I am not like a huge fan of how high the shoulder in this picture comes, but my material is really drapey and lightweight. So I think for me, it's going to just sit a little bit, and I think that's gonna look exactly how I want it to look. I will show you the fabric I've got here. So it is another locally sourced fabric. I do live somewhere that is actually my easiest option. So a locally sourced viscose here, and it's got this sort of almost Caribbean feeling print to it with these oranges and blues and some creams in there. And I just thought it'd be kind of interesting in that top. I don't think it's probably what most people would do with that top. I don't know if I just had a guess, but I have a feeling it's going to be really cute. So I'm going to go for it. And I'm excited to get started. It says it's an average pattern, and it's just something that's been sitting around kind of calling my name for a while, so we're gonna give this one a go. Okay, so the next one on my list is pretty certain to happen, I would say, as well. The coat and this are really high on the priority list, and that is a dress from, it's on Etsy, Dressmaking Amore, and it is the Rosetta Ruched Bust Shirred back dress. Now, my husband and I are going to Paris in about a month, and we are going just for a couple days because there is a special fashion exhibit going on at the Louvre, which if I'm able to film at all, I will be taking you along with us for that. I'm really excited about it, and I will probably do a video about fabric shopping in Paris as well. We're definitely going to get some footage there as well for our travel channel, which if anyone's interested in that, I'll link that down below. But we're going to be going there for that, and also it's the same time that the cherry blossoms are going to be in bloom. So I just planned it that way to be able to do both, because this special exhibit is only there for a limited time. I want to say till June or July, and then obviously you've got both the cherry blossoms and the wisteria happening, and it's I hope maybe we get lucky and we can see both, but we might be a little early on the wisteria. But that being said, I want to make a dress for Paris, and so that is the dress I plan to make. I might end up making two because the fabric I have in mind is a very special, not the cheapest fabric I've ever bought, and I really want to make sure that I feel confident about how it's going to turn out. And that is this beautiful silk that I found here locally. It would actually be so pretty with the wisteria, but it is this beautiful purple and pink floral fabric. It is just the most buttery, dreamy fabric ever. It's only 3 meters, but the pattern calls, for a little enough that this should work. And I actually think I got a little extra to lengthen it a little bit. I don't like anything like overly short, so I'm just hoping this turns out as dreamy as it is in my mind, but I love this fabric. Okay, the next on my list is just to make a second pair of the self-drafted pants. So I'll put some pictures here of how those turned out. I have sort of a coffee colored fabric right here. It's just sort of your classic sportswear trouser material. It's in this coffee color that I really like, and I would love to do a pair. I think it'll be pretty quick now that the pattern part is actually done. I'd like to do a pair in this and also possibly a denim. Again, it's going to be a busy month, so we'll see what I get through, but now that I have done them in the curtain material, that was very challenging. I'd like to do them in something a little bit more legit, so that's our plan for the pants. The next thing I would really like to do on my list is there is a trench coat pattern that Helen Castillo has a class for on her Patreon. I absolutely adore her. I think she's fabulous. And I have had material that it's actually not in the sewing room right now. That's why I don't have it. But it's a pink bottom weight, kind of similar to a denim weight that I dyed. I hand dyed pink from white, and I have had it sitting around for like 2 years. And I think if I could get that done in time for Paris too, having that kind of a weight coat with something over the dress would be perfect. So maybe I will get those two done, but it is just a really cool kind of easy style trench coat. The next thing that I want to do is finish this lovely top right here in the background. Again, if you missed my sewing makes video for the month of February, I will have talked about this. It needs to be hemmed, but also it needs some pretty big adjustments. I absolutely love how it looks. It looks great on that form right now because of the sizing, but it has a really high arm side that I need to drop and then see if that's going to fix the bust area enough or if I need to take it up a size. But I am in love with this. I'd also like to make it in a pink. I have right here. I pre-washed already this dusty rose poly satin to do a pink version of this. So once I get it figured out, I'm definitely going to make probably at least a cream / white color and this pink in that top, because I do think it's versatile and the bow can be swapped out because it is just a tie, so you can mix and match. I'm really happy about that. And that is the pattern Amour cowl neck top there. So I just need to make sure that those fit issues can be resolved before I go, into too deep of a dive. The one thing I will say is the pattern, at least that I could tell, didn't have any written directions. It was just a video link. I mean, the video is great, but I kind of like having both because once I've done something before, I don't really like to go back to a video. I could just use the written instructions. Maybe I missed it somewhere, but I love the style and aesthetic of this. It's so me, the whole thing. And so I definitely want to make more of those tops. The next pattern I would like to make is a Mal pattern on Etsy. It is the Crossover Halter neck top. And I just think there's something really interesting about it. And I have gotten several Mood Mystery boxes. I have personally had pretty good luck with them. I mean, there have been one or two things maybe I sold off, but for the most part, I've been really happy with them. But I got this really funky, silky, you know, it's probably a poly satin material in this print right here. And this is not a color palette or a print that I would normally go for at all. But I thought, okay, we can do something cool. we can find something cool to do with this. So I thought that this pattern with a pair of like skinny blue jeans, maybe a funky boot, could look really cool. So I've actually already got some of it cut. I've got a piece draped on my mannequin right now out of this, but I do need to make a little bit of adjustment. I need to stick with my single layer cutting. So I got to get back to cutting this one, but I think this will be a pretty quick and easy make, sort of a unique style top. And I have a feeling this material will sing well in it. The next thing that I would potentially like to make, which thing is, this is a very fast make, so I could probably do it in a couple hours, is to make another one of the Sew It Academy belts that I made in my last monthly makes. Last month I did this really funky, cool pattern and big Art Deco style belt, but I also have just a classic khaki material, and I want to make a khaki version of that with a gold, sort of an antique gold belt buckle. So that's a really straightforward, simple one, but I think it would get worn fairly often because of being the solid color, where I think the funky color takes a little bit more specific styling, so I want to make just more of a plain version as well. Okay, I've got 2 more things on my list. You can see, like I said, this will be a really busy month. Some of these are probably going to fall to the wayside. This one is more generic. So my husband and I, we do a travel channel just when we travel. We're not on there all the time. We do a travel channel together, and we also do a theme park channel because we are big theme park nerds. And Europa Park is a park we absolutely love, and we are going to be going to the opening day this season, and that is at the end of March. And I would love to create a look for that. There's kind of this theme of blue and yellow stars, so I'm considering trying to find a fabric with that in mind and make something for opening day. But that is definitely kind of an out there possibility because I really haven't found what I like yet, but I might make something cool and funky for opening day at that park. So again, I'll leave our other channels down in the description box if you have interest in that. All right, and the last one on this list, but definitely not the least, is Simplicity 9958, which was one of the patterns I got in my recent haul, which I'll leave overhead and down below. It is this skirt and top combo. I have really been wanting to make the top specifically because I just think it's very unique. I want to learn how that works. And somebody commented that they would like to see me do that combo in that video, and I agree. So if I can find a pattern that I think really suits that top, I definitely am going to have that near the top of my list this month as well to try out. I've kind of been looking through what I have, and nothing's grabbed me yet, but if I need to find the right thing, I'll find the right thing. So I'm kind of excited because that's something very different than anything I have ever sewn. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you for the suggestion because I've really been wanting to check that one out too. So these are all of my plans. Like I said, very advantageous. We'll see how much of this I get through and how much changes, but definitely at some point, if these have to roll into March, some of them, that is going to happen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know if there are any of these you'd be most excited to see. I really like hearing your thoughts as well down in the comments section. Again, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and coming along for the journey, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.